Look, I'm pleased to be able to address the House on a day with bond yields falling, growth figures for this year revised upwards, and an opportunity to reflect on the announcements made yesterday and what they mean for people in Welwyn Hatfield. I do want to try and address two of the macro trends that shape the UK economy today and would frame the choices available to any Chancellor, irrespective of their party allegiance. The first is the happy reality that people in the UK are living longer than ever before. Millions of Brits are living longer and healthier lives, staying active, spending more time with grandchildren, playing sport, music, doing charitable work, and enjoying holidays. This is unquestionably and unequivocally good news, but inequality among older people is stark and real. Lifespans vary hugely by postcode, and the focus of this government on the NHS is essential if we're to close that gap. But there is a challenge that is perhaps even more profound. The ratio between the working age population and those who are retired has been transformed. Since the creation of the welfare state, there has been almost a doubling on what is called the dependency ratio, and we see it vividly in how it impacts on government spending. By 2030 to 31, welfare spending supporting pensioners will have increased to £195 billion per year. Welfare spending supporting families with child benefit, and that includes the changes announced yesterday, will be £14 billion per year. Welfare spending is going up. It's going up disproportionately to support pensioners, and it reflects the happy truth that people are living longer. But in this place, when we discuss the future of welfare in this House, let's always be mindful of the facts. I'm afraid the second theme relates to the biggest act of economic self-harm in a generation. The Brexit deal put up trade barriers with our closest and largest trading partners. We have 16,000 fewer businesses in the UK exporting to the EU, a surge in food prices, bureaucracy at the border, and a hit to our economy of at least £100 billion. We have to repair the damage. It's critical that this government continues to drive forward the UK-EU reset and does it at pace. An SPS deal that could reduce food prices, a youth mobility deal that will be good for growth and cultural connections. UK-EU relations were on the floor thanks to the last government. We are rebuilding the relationship, and I will continue to advocate that my colleagues in government do this at pace, with urgency and with increasing ambition, because it is so fundamental to all of our growth prospects for the future. Madam Deputy Speaker, I want to commend the Chancellor for increasing the headroom on her stability rule. The markets were looking for reaffirmation that this is a government serious about meeting its targets, and they got their answer. Bond yields fell yesterday, meaning the cost of borrowing fell too. Coupled with the inflation figures last week, the case for another cut in interest rates looks stronger than ever. If the story of this Parliament is interest rates falling and lower mortgage repayments, then the story of yesterday's budget was one that coupled stability with fairness. Removing the two-child limit was morally and economically the right choice. I've spoken about how relatively small this cost is to the Exchequer in the context of welfare spending a moment ago. But we're talking practically here about £17.25 a week. A very modest amount of money to many people, but a sum that will be transformative to the families currently living below the poverty line. And on the cost of living, a series of decisions that will help the day-to-day lives of ordinary people in Welwyn Hatfield and across the country. The bus cap maintained, train fares frozen for the first time in 30 years, prescription charges held steady, and a major intervention on energy bills that will see them fall universally by around £150 next year. That's in addition to the Warm Homes payment this winter, which will benefit at least 10,000 people in Welwyn Hatfield and 2.7 million across the country. Madam Deputy Speaker, the economic fundamentals are challenging. In these circumstances, it is an even more significant achievement by this Labour government to meet the fiscal rules, to calm the gilt markets, to provide extra support on the cost of living, and to drive down child poverty. This budget is responsible, fair, and it sets a foundation on which to build in the future.